Hi, my friends and family. My name is Trey Smith, and this is Trey's Timeless Myths and Tunes channel on YouTube and Odyssey. And today, my talk is called With No Triggers, Your Mind Can't Be Shot. Danger! I was told to expect it. I begin my descent down the cold granite steps. And who could have turned among those I confided in? I think that I know what I haven't known yet. 'Cause a week is a month and an hour is a day. When your reaching just pushes it further away now. With your past and your future precisely divided. At that moment, I haven't decided. Haven't decided. So before you take another step up, just don't blame it on yourself. With no triggers, your peace of mind can't be shot. What are these triggers I speak of? Well, in psychology jargon, a trigger is a word or an idea or a person, a place or a thing, organization that can make you go into a rage, make you feel emotional, make you once again become a victim of the enslavement through mind control. For some of us, this is a very long, even decades long, or at least years long process of removal for those who have the courage and the discipline to do so. One must contemplate where you're jealous, resentful, and practice reframing in all these situations. Again, without facing our shadow, we're permanently going to be remote control pawns of the dark side in this war and sources of loosh. We're not really being real with ourselves unless to say if you want to be 100% or 96% clear, you've got to face the hard part. For example, when I tell you it's unnatural to have to wear all these layers when it's a blue sky in Santa Cruz, and you think I'm just making up, or picking up a conspiracy. No, the space fence is on Lockheed Martin's website. They openly admit. So we all have trauma residue, or most of us have trauma residue from the past, shadow work, the archontic. We can just be a source of loose for the dark side unless we learn to clear it out. As I've said many times, the negative alien agenda, originally before 2020, was obviously control through religious dogma, war, PTSD, racism, the fake converted feminist movement. Whenever someone says, my pet peeve, that's an example of a trigger. My experiential life learning knowledge is that around 70 or 2/3 of the time, if somebody gets really angry about something someone else around them did, it's because it's something they do or they wish they could do. They do it, but they don't admit that they do it. Or they have the exact opposite temperament and they wish they could be that way. So it's a projection. About 2/3 of the time, when somebody gets really angry at something you do, it's a projection. The narcissist, the codependent personality, the fear-based reality can all cause people to be a psychological pussy cat. You know, the enemy is always out there. The enemy is always somewhere out there. No, the enemy is always in there. Every enemy that you'll ever have is a phantom. So, this is where I both agree and diverge from A Course in Miracles, because I believe since mind control MK operator William Thetford transcribed it. Of course, they got it a little wrong, but you have to understand that your mind does attract and create situations and the enemy and the devil and the dark side. However, um, that didn't originally create all the evil in the world. You, the audience, the person listening or watching, couldn't have possibly thought up the idea of the injections or cell phones, right? So we can't be responsible. I'm not responsible for how you poison or kill yourself. I'm not responsible for healing yourself. As I said, it's a Gnostic, it's a esoteric inward process. You're responsible, but how you react to the dark side or the external that might be painful or evil or suffering is how much of the devil, Lucifer, or Satan you need in your life is always contingent upon how much you decide you need to learn in hell instead of learning in heaven. For example, if I could get as responsible as possible with my 3D reality and get the money in the place and learn, or at least find the travel around till I find the right people, or even travel around online, I plan to build a glass greenhouse to grow my food, my cannabis, to take my sun baths, to chill out, to make my YouTube videos in. Because I don't believe I need to be. I don't believe I need for to be in weather 20 or 30 degrees cooler than natural with nanobot and other nasty heavy metals encrusted, dumped on me all the time, every day. I don't believe I deserve that. However, I have to accept that in order to get out of this shit, I'm gonna have to be able to have the financial responsibility and the social skills to find a place to build this glass greenhouse. Okay, so if anybody listening or watching is into this idea, you know, and you got property, we could talk. So word triggers are the most common triggers. Got off a little on a tangent there. Aliens, for example, the word aliens or ETs, evil aliens, magic, Satan, Trump really triggers a lot of people around here. The word Nazi, nigger, faggot is actually a word that was from shearing sheep. Interestingly enough, the sheep archetype, and the faggot was actually the leftover wool. So the reason why the PC people don't want anyone to ever say this word is not really because it's derogatory to a homosexual person. For example, they don't have any problem using the rainbow as their symbol of continuity. As I said, 3 minutes of continuity, however long that orgasm lasts, that's your future, and they're going to rub it in. And GLBTQ, make up whatever gender you want, just don't have babies. No, there's no problem to or call themselves a dyke. Have African Americans call themselves nigga. No, it's no problem. But if I say that word and I don't identify, no one's allowed to say that word, the word faggot, because it means leftover. Okay, so the reason why they don't want to allow you to say that word is because it triggers the idea. Like, say, if a homosexual heard you say that word, it triggers the idea that they lost in the heterosexual game, so they had to go gay or become a homosexual or stoop down. Or it triggers the idea that it's homosexual is a loser, that it means inherently that you lost the heterosexual game, the competitive sex game. So that's why it's illegal to say that in a PC place. It's not because they don't care if you say derogatory words. There's an artist, female artist, recently, like last year, toured the Catalyst, calls herself bitch, and that's acceptable. See, I say that person has got to have mental illness to want to call themselves a female dog. I mean, think about that's a perfect example of another triggering word, right? Think about how much that word triggers. And this artist says, well, she's an attractive young woman. I don't know if she identifies as anything, but she says, I'm trying to get rid of the stigma of it by calling yourself a female, the term that means female dog, right? Or the leftover wool. It's the same principle to me, man. It's, again, the devil, the dark side wants you to denigrate yourself, to put yourself down, and then they feed off that. That's the kind of energy. That's how, imagine being this low. Imagine the way tweakers are and the spirits they interact with. Well, those are the spirits, the same kind of entities that think they have the right to take over the whole world. And they have no respect. It's like, don't call yourself bitch. Don't call someone a faggot. Don't use any of these derogatory terms. However, if someone uses these terms and you feel an emotional response, or your heart starts to beat, if you're black and someone says nigger and you want to kill them, sure, it's natural, but you must understand the mainstream media wants you to react that way. The Khazarian mafia, who are very, very racist, they created the KKK and the NAACP, and they funded the Boulets. They funded all of your supposed emancipation, the women's movement. They funded all these supposed emancipation things so they could steer it into the dark side. Black Lives Matters, steer it into this anti-family thing. And the way they done a lot of that was through triggering, through traumatization, through massive level institutionalization of whole generations and demographics, regional demographics, so that they can make everyone on the West Coast, if you say the word Christ, they can make 90% of these people get an emotional reaction because their great grandparents got their head cut off or got enslaved by the conquistadores. So the blood on the word Christ in California, okay, is so profound. It's so sad. So again, it's a sign that you're still under mind control. If a word can make you get upset, make your heart beat fast or angry, and it can destroy your peace of mind easily, and so that's why it's called the trigger. Psychological wounds remain hidden in Freud's subconscious monsters and his idea of the subconscious unless you're willing to notice these feelings. Take your time, go to quiet space in nature, and be willing to look at how you're triggered and your reactions. It's the only way that I know of you can heal it. A great way, I've mentioned in another video, the recapitulation process, the recapitulation breath, soul retrieval. Then at a certain point, you'll be willing to accept that it's just a word. And when you can do that, you realize you're not under the control of the black magic spell. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but as long as some word or slogan can rape your mind, when you hear someone say it, then you're really being a spiritual weakling, coward, because that means that you're just easily a pawn. You're just a child. You're being a little infant about it, In imperialism and in Thailand, there's a law that you can't publicly or online, you can't question anything that the government, it's a monarchy, that the royalty say or do. If you like this, click subscribe, and I'm going to go a little further more into this topic later on in the next 15 Kane. So this is Trey's 30 minutes of explaining triggers. Blessings.